I am Dave Peck. I am the social media strategist for Meshing, which is incubated here at Palo Alto Research Center. So I handle all the online marketing, customer acquisition, responding to people via Twitter, I'm looking that way, right? Twitter, Facebook. You come up with a social networking site, YouTube, whatever, and I will find you and respond. And getting the word out, that's the biggest thing. Well, first, reaching out to online news organizations like Mashable, ReadWriteWeb, CNET, and getting reviews, TechCrunch, things like that, getting to talk about us, networking with those people. Twitter's huge for Meshing. We've gotten over 50% of our downloads via Twitter, just by people retweeting and talking about it, passing on, as well as Facebook is huge for us as well too. Interacting with people, responding to comments. So if someone says something to me, I want to make sure I acknowledge it in some way. If someone takes the time to retweet something for me, sure, it's just a click, but hey, you clicked on me. Yeah, brilliant, sounds dirty. I really appreciate it. So I always say, like this morning just before you came, I said thanks for the retweets to people. Good content, it's so cliche, content is king. Everybody says it. Yeah, you know what, it really is. So I try to talk about a certain theme. So I usually talk about Facebook, Twitter, social networking, things that are, how do I say this nicely, not stupid. You know, you don't really care about pictures of my kid or what I'm having for lunch. Again, more cliches. But it's passing stuff like that, and I get a high level of retweets for that, and helps build up my personal brand. So about 5 years ago, we had a set of twins, which was kids number 4 and 5. And up in the middle of the night, I started reading a thing about Second Life. I thought, okay, I'll check it out. So I created an avatar named Brittany Mason. I pretended to be a woman on the internet. At the same time, I was listening to podcasts. There was a gentleman by the name, it's still around actually, Adam Curry, with a company called Pod Show, which is now called Media, and he was podcasting. I listened to him. And he said, hey, I just discovered this great place called Second Life, come meet me. I said, okay. So I logged in as Brittany Mason and Adam Curry. He used to be an MTV VJ, by the way, for those who remember the name. Headbangers Ball, you two are way too young. And we hit it off. He thinks I'm a woman the whole time, so he said, you know what, why don't you help me develop these online communities in the virtual world? We did that, it went really well. Well, at the same time, he had a deal with Sirius Satellite Radio for his company, so all these podcasters were getting played on Sirius Satellite Radio. Well, they would all talk about Brittany like she's a real person, and it just started building this cult following. And everybody thinks I'm real, and they want to meet me, and keep in mind, we don't have Twitter. Facebook had just rolled out, but it was for colleges, so I'm using instant messaging and emails to communicate with all these people, and it worked really well. One thing leads to another, and a marketing company called Crayon was looking for some in-world help, so I helped work on a project for Coke. Because all these brands were rushing to be in virtual, this was the hot thing, right? First it was podcasting, then it was virtual worlds. And that led to consulting for Wells Fargo, that led doing a project for Harvard, the Grammys, all these things. And then it slowly got out of, I could see the writing on the wall that virtual worlds weren't going to be around for a while, or as popular, because they're still there. Don't email me, I know they're still there. So I moved on to this thing called Twitter, and I was one of the early adopters of Twitter. I used it back in beta. And those who get there first, usually get the following, and that worked really well. And here I am today, trying to stay ahead of the curve constantly. And that's the short story, believe it or not. I didn't even get into the CNBC profile of Brittany Mason. They did a whole thing on the Today Show and CNBC, and they came to the house and wanted to meet me. And they did a whole thing about virtual worlds and pretending to be a woman on the internet. Oh yes, I was in a very related field, absolutely, called insurance. I was an insurance broker. Yes, nothing to do with it whatsoever. Scary, huh? And from that, I went to Brittany, to consulting to companies, and here I am today at Meshing. So my blog's thedavepeck.com. Nice plug. That's a good one. I'm going to digress for a second. It's in a way Twitter hurts my blogging, because I have all these ideas and things to talk about. Well, you know what? I can have an instant conversation on Twitter. Well, there goes the blog post, right? So I have to kind of keep the stuff to the side. So tips and tricks work really well. People like that kind of stuff. Short, concise. Again, more Twitter-like than writing long, drawn-out blog posts seem to work really well. Using Twitter to retweet the post, that works really well. Facebooking it. And then using things like Discuss and Instant Debate really help with your comments at the end. So if someone leaves a comment, I always comment back, and I keep that chain. Again, more Twitter-like, and people really dig that. And that gets the conversations going on the blog, and it gets it to hopefully go out there in the streams and people to talk about it. And then I've been doing more of interviews lately about social media. I've kind of taken a different angle. It seems to be doing really well, doing a lot of celebrity and CEO interviews. And people seem to dig it. So, and audio, I'm using audio more. Get tired of typing all day. So, but staying fresh. And then when I don't have a thought for a blog post, I tweet. What should I write about? People give me ideas. So now they help me think about it. I write about it, and then they go, oh, that was my idea. And then they come read it. Works really well. Well, you follow everybody back. Don't have this, there's Twitter snobs. I got to follow less people than follow me. There's a whole, there's a great blog post out there, different types of people. I am currently a Twitter snob. I don't follow as many people. I don't know why. I guess I should. Now that Twitter's rolled out lists, it really doesn't matter anymore. But it's this appearance that people have. So how do I get more? I tweet back. I acknowledge everyone. I thank people for putting me on lists. Again, passing the content on and engaging with people. I mean, you're not too good to talk to anybody, you know what I mean? And I think that helps. Sounds weird, but I think that's one of the keys to success. Engaging with everybody. It's getting harder and harder to take the time to acknowledge everybody. Like, I know you tweeted at me last night, I saw it. I emailed you back though, but I just like, okay, I got like 20 of them, so, it just takes time. I know, poor me. For companies, using social media is not very clear. You're absolutely right. And a better way to look at it is, I can't tell you the number of companies that's called me on a Monday and say, hey, we got a project rolling out on Wednesday, we need about 20,000 people to engage. What can you do? Well, you got a Twitter account? No. You got a Facebook account? No. Do you have any, MySpace? You on anything? No. People think that you can start it on a Monday and launch on a Wednesday. That's a big problem for companies. You got to build up the community starting weeks, if not months, like we did here at Measure. I mean, we didn't even go out of beta until September. I started back in July, just building up the audience. We've got about 8,000 followers on Twitter. We haven't even launched a product yet, which is great. And and companies need to do that. And then the companies need to know that even if we're cliches, even if you're not part of the conversation, it's happening with you or without you, and you need to be part of the conversation. So companies need to have somebody that's dedicated to responding online. I mean, I keep talking about Measure, that's what I'm working on right now. I got to thank you via tweet for the great customer service, and they're not even using our product. I was great. I mean, they said, I really want to, and they wrote a blog post about how great it is, the service of Measure, and they were just asking questions that had nothing to do with our product, but we were willing to help them. Companies need to be like that kind of attitude. They'll go a lot farther. So maybe your Coke, people are asking questions about Pepsi. Kind of weird, but you know what? The follow through works really well. I was talking to Domino's guy last night, who's a friend. We've only met once, but we talked via Twitter. I was talking about Pizza Hut, and he was commenting in about what he thinks, and he's being totally transparent about it. It's that transparency that really works. Real estate's tough. I call it hyper-local, which I think is someone else's term. So I have one guy I know, Ed Gorey, he writes the Emerald Hills blog. Emerald Hills is a territory, an area within Redwood City. That's how local. He's not going to be the Redwood City real estate agent. He's just going to own these 4 or 5 blocks. It works really well. I think that can work for not insurance, but real estate. That works really well. There's the White Oaks blogs. All these other guys have got Mount Carmel area. They've all got on it. So that hyper-local angle works really well. Insurance, absolutely. I would think they're licensed in a state. They can do it too. Anybody can be the expert or thought leader in anything. I can set up a blog tomorrow and make myself the #1 accountant in the United States. I don't know the first thing about accounting, but You set up the website, you put anything up there, you can be the expert. I hate that word, but, or the thought leader, and that works really well. So yeah, real estate, insurance, doctors, I see plastic surgeons doing it. I mean, it's whatever you want to do. You just write a blog within your website and give content, push the content out, you got it going on. So Submession is a semantic Outlook add-on. It helps organize your email using semantic technologies, which means it's really smart. Download it at Mession.com. We rolled it out in beta in September, and it's open to everybody now, an open beta. And hopefully it will get bigger and brighter. It's growing every day. Downloads are off the hook. And it organizes your email using natural language processing. Fancy, huh? This is a technology here at Park is what we're using. And so it knows the difference between, you say, I'm going to use the one I used earlier, you're going to the Cal Berkeley game, and 6 months later you come back and say Golden Bears. It knows the two are related. It recognizes organizations. So yeah, check it out.